Justin Trudeau's economic advisor, as the next Liberal leader, to trick Canadians into giving Liberals a fourth term in power. But
Pretty
he's just
much
like
the
Justin,
same shit.
and he's more of the same. We
Not
have
even
the same Liberal MPs,
same
the
shit.
same Liberal advisors, the same Liberal promises, who will produce the same Liberal results. Doubling housing costs, doubling the debt, doubling lineups at food banks, enriching the global elites at the expense of the working class, and making our economy more helpless and reliant on the Americans than ever before. Now, Mark Carney is trying to hide from his record over the last 5 years of advising Trudeau in favor of raising carbon taxes, money printing inflation, and blocking resource projects, all while he moved his company headquarters and jobs to the United States. You know, it's ironic. Mr. Carney is trying to distract from his many scandals and conflicts of interest, as well as his disastrous record as Justin Trudeau's economic advisor, by talking about Trump. He's the guy that sold out to Trump. 6 days after Donald Trump threatened Canada with tariffs to steal our jobs, Mark Carney announced to Brookfield shareholders that he would move his headquarters from Canada to New York. And when you asked him about it, he lied to your face. We got it in writing, and we proved it. He sold out Canada. He put his profit ahead of our people, and he did exactly what Donald Trump wanted. Never before have we had a Prime Minister so conflicted and compromised, and yet so little scrutinized. Just like when he supported carbon taxes in Canada while investing in American coal. He opposed Canadian pipelines while his company bought Middle East pipelines.
Yeah, of course.
He has millions of dollars of financial interests that run against Canada's national interests. He gets rich, making Canadians poor. You can be sure about one thing.
Oh, you thought they were worried about Canadians? They're worried about their globalist agenda.
Investments. And he is going to leverage all of Carney's profit motive against the interests of the Canadian people.
Carney and Trudeau and all these guys are just like Biden.
He's already done it. He's systematically done it his entire time
Canada.
As a corporate insider. Giving the Liberals a fourth term
These
will
guys
not
the
change
best shot
any of that.
we had here in Canada.
Carney puts himself first. Conservatives
right
will
here.
put Canada first. Putting Canada first means cutting bureaucracy and taxes. It means passing a big, beautiful, bring-it-home tax cut, lowering tax rates on work, investment, energy, and home building. It means axing the carbon tax for real, for good, for everyone, forever. It means repealing the Liberal No New Pipelines Law C-69. We need an east-west pipeline, and we need to say it in both French and English. Nous avons besoin d'une pipeline d'un océan Americans by building east-west pipelines. We need more interprovincial trade. We need to unleash our...
That's the thing. Americans and Canadians need to gather up together financially, militarily, strategically, geopolitically against Russia, China, and all of these common powers around the world.
The helplessness that the Liberals have caused over the last 10 years of tax and keep it in the ground extremism. So more than anything, we need to bring back the Canadian promise. In a country where we trade with each other, we produce our own resources, we build homes for our people.
For the most part.
We protect our weak and vulnerable
the homes,
while standing up to the Americans abroad. The Canadian promise is that anyone...
Your average house here in Ontario, it's over $500,000. 650,000.
From anywhere can achieve anything. That hard work gets you a great life in a beautiful home, on a safe street, protected by solid borders and brave troops under a proud flag. Canada. Let's bring it home.
Mr. Poilievre, what economic and diplomatic experience do you have to go up against Donald Trump?
Oh, quite a lot, actually. So I was the Minister of Jobs and Housing in the Harper government, during which time housing cost half as much as it does today.
I really was researching this, expecting I was wrong. I was like, probably I'm exaggerating. It's probably like 500,000, probably a little bit under, right? I said 600. So it is 850,000 as of January of 2025.
I helped Mr. Harper cut the GST, cut income tax, cut business tax, and balance the budget.
Insane.
Over my time in Parliament, I've been scrutinizing and studying the books on the Public Accounts Committee, the Operations Committee, the Finance Committee. He said deflation was on the horizon. I turned out to be right. I said the carbon tax would drive up food prices, and it did. Drove them up 37% faster in Canada.
What do you expect? If truckers are paying more for diesel and they use those trucks to deliver pretty much everything else,
than in the United States of America. I was the first parliamentarian to predict that we would have the inflation crisis, while Carney, Freeland, Trudeau, and others were saying that we would not.
Prices are.
I was the first one to be, along with my Conservative colleagues, fighting for pipelines. Pipelines now everyone claims that they support after opposing them for the last 10 years. So if Mr. Carney is so smart on economics, how is it that he was so wrong for so long on all of the economic issues? One thing I don't
they had the power for a
with
decade.
is taking jobs
didn't do
out
shit.
of Canada, moving them
That's
to the United
not an
States,
excuse.
selling out our
Period.
resource workers to support Middle Eastern resource workers. That's not the kind of experience that I have, but that's not the kind of experience that we want.
Despite what you're saying, recent polls are showing that more Canadians trust Mark Carney to deal with Donald Trump rather than you. Why do you think your message is not cutting through and getting through to Canadians?
Canadians have a choice in the next election. Do they want to give the Liberals a fourth term in power after they drove up housing costs, food prices, and taxes,
I really hope
resource
people is not
projects, and made us more reliant on Trump's America?
To do that.
Or do they want Canada First Conservatives who will axe taxes, build homes, unleash production of our resources, and bring home paychecks, production, and sovereignty to our country?
Mr. Poilievre, what instructions have you given your caucus members and your candidates about wearing MAGA merchandise or using MAGA slogans?
Well, my instruction is that we should put Canada first. We
let's
want to put our
Canada
country first, stand up for our country.
I really like Trump. I love Trump. Look at my other videos. You know, they're Trump
policies that have made us helpless
in a good
and reliant
you know?
on the U.S.
I've
also made it.
I am realist too, and I live in Canada, right? So all the Canadians watching this, rally up for Canada. And let's put Canada first. That doesn't mean do not have empathy anymore for MAGA and all of these. That only means you put Canada first.
It clear to my members of Parliament that we should favor bringing jobs back to Canada, not move them to the United States of America as Mark Carney did when he had the chance.
Do you still think we're going to have a carbon tax election, considering Mark Carney says he's going to scrap the consumer one?
We are going to have a carbon tax election because Mark Carney has proposed to add another industrial carbon tax on top of the existing one. In days, Donald Trump could impose tariffs on Canadian steel. At the same time as Mark Carney says that he wants a new carbon tax on Canadian steel. By the way,
absurd.
It's not me that says his tax would apply
This
to steel.
fucking liberal agenda is
in an interview he gave to CTV in Atlanta, Canada a month ago, he claimed that taxing steel was a great idea because people, he says, don't use steel anymore.
Because $1 million
this
house
building would come crashing down
average
without
in
steel.
Detroit.
Automobiles would be impossible to make without steel. Our civilization is
That's
the
for your
bones of our
average
civilization is steel.
800
And Mark Carney wants to bring in
$1,000.
a big industrial carbon tax on our steel
And
workers
these idiots want
at
more
exactly the
taxes.
same time as Trump plans to tariff our steel. The combination of Trump's tariffs and carbon tax, Carney's tax, would destroy our steel sector and threaten our national security.
That's carbone dont vous parlez, la portion industrielle
Ah, la
existe déjà.
conscience, les
Allez-vous la garder? C'est pas clair.
C'est
I'm
pas
sorry,
juste
I
la
don't speak
première
French.
qui est déjà en place.
Ah oui,
c'est une
je
deuxième
vois,
taxe.
oui,
Et
oui,
aussi, il
oui,
faut
bon,
souligner, pour financer un
Ah,
système
le
de crédit,
financier, le vrai,
il a besoin
le
de le
smoke
faire de
jaune,
façon nationale.
il y a
Il
l'air de
doit
champagne.
expliquer comment
Oh
nos
oui,
travailleurs vont
oui, oui, oui.
Mr. Carney is saying that Mr. Harper offered him the post of finance minister.
I fucking love
Mr.
French accent.
Harper confirmed to me that Mark Carney has taken credit for things he has not done, and that if I could, he said that Mr. Carney he was astonished really at how Mark Carney took credit for things he never did. And at the same time, we know this is a pattern for Mr. Carney. He claimed that he helped Paul Martin balance the budget in 1998. Well, Mark Carney wasn't even in the country or working for the government at that time. He didn't join the government as a bureaucrat until 2004. So this is a consistent pattern of Mark Carney lying to the Canadian people. You know what I find interesting about Mark Carney? He doesn't want to take responsibility for the things he actually did, like advising Trudeau for the last 5 years, but he wants to take credit for things he did not do, like managing Canada's.
It's ridiculous, bro. These guys are literally insane, man. Like they want,
I'm Kiana,
carbon
and I
tax,
level.
you know, they're driving the economy. They're already to the border, to the edge of collapse. You know, like you saw it. Will you search it right here? Average house price here in Ontario, $884,000. That is crazy. That's fucking crazy. Anyways, let us know what you think about these crazy policies. Please like, comment, subscribe, and see you soon to keep you well informed about all this bullshit that's going on with the Ukrainian war and these carbon taxes, trade wars, terrorist attacks. It's crazy. Anyways, take care, and have a good one.